dos, tres, cuatro.
Something for the B-boys and the lowriders.
Dos, tres, cuatro.
Something for the B-boys and the lowriders.
Utterance was still a pretty young band, maybe a couple years old, and we've been trying to get into the Graceland without any luck. And for a Tacoma band to get into Seattle, and we didn't have much of a Seattle scene. It was rough at the time. But we got invited to play on a show with this band Drop Six at Graceland. They asked us to come play. It was a free show. So we papered the hell out of that room. Like, we told everybody in Tacoma, like, this is free. You can come to this one. Because that was the biggest issue, was like, Tacoma loved us at home, but they wouldn't follow us because it's not that we're snobby. We just feel safer at home, I guess, in a weird way. But anyway, Tacoma showed out that night, and I was on stage. Utterance was doing their thing, and I had the mic in my hand, and I was like, Tacoma, let's show Seattle who's in the fucking building tonight. And I looked down, and there's this guy, Charles. May he rest in peace. But he was in the crowd, and he was like this little demon punk rocker dude. And he saw me and heard that and just unleashed. And it was pure chaos unleashed in the pit and throughout that crowd. And the place was packed. I mean, it was a free show. I don't want to take too much credit. But it was packed and it went nuts. And I saw our fans in Seattle showing Seattle that we have a scene too. And then that was a big moment of pride for me. And I think that's sticking in my head because in the last year or so, I saw footage of that show somewhere online. And it was just as crazy as I remember it.
I've had so many over the years. I played with so many different bands. A lot of really great local bands that I was super happy about. But one band in particular I created was the band called Wide Eye Panic, and we played with Silver Safe, Nevermore, us, and then Powerman 5000 at the Rock and Roll Pizza down in Portland, Oregon, with our boy Will and Shauna, who owned it. It was colossal. That night, our guitar player snapped his Achilles or hamstring or something like that. Had to be surgically replaced. The show was awesome. It was packed, and it was just like in front of all the homies in Oregon. It was probably one of my favorites for sure. Yeah, the next one would have to be Unleash the Freaks before we got booted off. That's another story. The fact that I was always told no, or I was always told I couldn't do it, or I was always told to give up, or I was always just pushed out of bands, or I was always pushed to not play anymore. So that kind of pushed me, that kind of really inspired me to just keep going. It's like, well, who are you to tell me no?
I would say waking up every morning and knowing I have another day. Waking up in the morning and breathing air is pretty inspiring, especially with these last few years and what all's been going on. You tend to really appreciate what you have in that moment. I've never not done music. At least, since I was a little kid, I can remember writing music, even if it was horrible, on this horrible Casio keyboard that I had when I was like 8 years old. I was trying to write music. So when I've tried to stop, like I quit Utterance to start a family and be the family man, I still didn't know how to not do it. So what inspires me is the fact that I wake up in the morning and I still get an opportunity to do it.